Hey there, it is Dr. Val, your resident spiritual neuroscientist, and today I'm talking to people who are asking themselves whether the body keeps the score. I know there's been a recent publication in Frontiers, a scientific journal, right? Although it's an opinion piece, it's not like it's presenting all this novel information. Nonetheless, it is called "The Body Does Not Keep the Score." Okay, and of course, this has caused a lot of uproar within the somatic practitioner and the broader community who really are into this idea that the body does keep the score, and trauma is stored in the body. Now, from a neuroscientific perspective, yes, when we undergo severe stress or trauma, the prefrontal cortex, the part of our brain that governs things like emotions, emotional regulation comes from there, is disconnected from the amygdala, the emotional processing center of our brain. In that respect, we can't regulate our emotions when this disconnect happens. And that is effectively one of the biggest impacts of trauma on our brain. Yeah, our CEO is no longer available to regulate our emotional processing center, so emotions run wild and rampant. And of course, practices like meditation, yoga, restore this connection. And there's other ways to do that as well. So it's not like it's lost forever and ever and ever, but it does take practice and effort to restore that connection via neuroplasticity, the growth of new neuronal pathways, the growth of new neurons, right? However, at the level of our DNA, a stressful and traumatic environment literally suppresses the expression of certain genes whilst promoting the expression of other genes. For instance, the children of Holocaust survivors were the ones seeking a lot of psychological therapy, even they weren't the ones that were subject to the trauma. Okay, so that information got passed down the germline through their epigenome, ultimately markers that sit on top of your DNA that either suppress or allow the expression of certain genes. So if you're in a stressful, traumatic environment, genes that are involved in the overexpression of cortisol are upregulated, yes, such that that stress response is overly active. However, genes that are involved in, let's say, GABAergic signaling, GABA, which is the inhibitory neurotransmitter of our brain, which allows us to stay calm. So genes involved in GABA are downregulated when trauma occurs. So in that sense, we are impacted at the level of every single cell because we have DNA in every single cell of our body that is impacted by traumatic events. So in that sense, I say the body keeps the score. In fact, every cell of our body keeps the score. So if you're into this, please follow me for more. Share this with someone whose life you think might contribute to. And if you'd like to work with me, all the details are in the description box below. And until we see each other again.